I'm Strug Life today. Cheers, everyone. Okay, so today we are talking about, welcome to my channel, Perpetually Paperback. I'm Irene, and today we are going to talk about a recent read, Bringing Down the Duke by Evie Dunmore. This is one that I heard about through the Feminist Orchestra Book Club, and this is their May-June selection. It's a historical romance, which I really hadn't dabbled too much into as far as romance goes. Historical, yes, everything. I love historical fiction. So really it was a matter of like, why wouldn't I like this? I went in a little bit apprehensive. I heard about this through a couple of booktubers that I really like. I've read a couple of their suggestions or things that they have read based on their like of it. And I got really excited to read it. So I picked it up and I absolutely loved it. For me, it was 5 stars. I enjoyed it so much. I read it super quickly and just had such a ball. It was so enjoyable. I really liked, like literally, I actually feel a little bit bad for my boyfriend because as I was reading this book, I was like, you know what? You know what the best thing about like relationships are? Like all the books that I love, every one of them has this in the relationship. Banter. And then I looked at him and walked away. So yeah, he gets it. But anyway, this had amazing banter. It was great. Okay, so let me tell you a little bit about it. So this story follows Annabelle and a gentleman named Sebastian, the Duke of Montgomery. And so, obviously, they are the romantic leads in this one. But basically, it follows Annabelle, who receives this scholarship to go to Oxford, and she's one of the first women to go. She gets the scholarship from the this like women's suffrage party. So as a stipulation for the scholarship, she has to participate in the women's suffrage movement. So early on, she meets some friends, and she ends up having this accidental run-in with this gentleman who turns out to be the Duke of Montgomery. Through a series of events, through people knowing each other in British society, they get invited by Sebastian's younger brother, who one of her friends tutors, over to his house to have this grand party when the Duke is supposed to be gone. And the Duke is this very aggressively proper person. And it is historical fiction, so it is set during the Regency, and that is the Victorian era. And obviously in a time when when the women did not have the vote. So they end up at the Duke of Montgomery's house, and it turns out that the party they were going to have with him gone turned into the party they were having as he showed up. And they ended up him and Annabelle exchanged this, what later becomes a misunderstanding, and they begin to really dislike each other, but have this amazing attraction, and the internal monologue is so wonderful. So as the story continues, there's a whole lot of like, I can't be with you, I want to, but I can't, and like no one's telling their feelings, but their internal monologues are so fun, they're so great, that really the internal monologue of them both was awesome. One thing I really liked that, and I don't know, maybe this is just something because I don't read a whole lot of romance, the dual perspective was awesome. I absolutely loved it. So as you're reading the book, you get a lot of, and I know I stopped telling you what happened because I don't want to give any spoilers in this book. So basically what ends up happening is obviously they start to kind of have this love-hate situation, and that is really just a, I want you because it is romance. And the story unfolds. If I say anything more, I think I'll start to kind of give you spoilers. But it's a lot of their own circumstances are largely the reason why there is turmoil in the relationship, somewhat. Yeah, I don't want to say too much without give it away because this was so wonderfully juicy. The sex scenes were awesome. They were played out in a way that I really appreciated, and I find that the things that are more attractive to me are not necessarily any kind of taking of control, but just like they were so good and like so hot, but I don't want to say anything that's going to make them like not the, okay, so how do I say this? There was a whole lot of equality, and it was fucking sexy in the book. It was awesome. I guess I had kind of created this idea in my mind about romance that was going to be just something that would make me feel dirty and wrong, which is, I realize, my own judgment for it. And it's not really like I had experienced anything that would lead me to believe that. They were just kind of things I created in my mind. After this, it really taught me how enjoyable it could actually be. And how much fun it was. It was good. It was written really well, I thought. Or at least I didn't find there to be any issues that just detracted from the story in any way. I really liked it. I thought that they were both really strong characters, and I really appreciated that. I dislike when there's just a meek character. Things like that just don't compute in my mind as a good relationship. Like, any kind of aggressive control I don't usually like, which is funny because I think I'm a super controlling person, but yeah, no. I'm like, maybe we'll take that part out. But anyway, yeah, this was really great. So there were some super hilarious lines in it. It was definitely an adult book, so, I would caution if you're listening to an audiobook with children around, maybe. But I would definitely check it out. At first, I was a little bit apprehensive, knowing that it was a book set in the Victorian era, and I thought perhaps the language maybe a little bit highbrow. It wasn't like that at all. It was super easy to read. I read it very quickly because it was so good. Caution though, I will tell you, I definitely was mad at my boyfriend for at least 3 days after, and it was just this crazy reaction that was I was just kind of mad at him that he wasn't a duke. Not his fault. I get it. It was all me. But still, so think about that. No, it was a great time. It was a really, really great time. So I definitely recommend checking it out if you can. It is part of the League of Extraordinary Women series, and this is the first of those. I believe it is a series that follows all 4 friends in the group, and I believe there are 4 of them. So it follows all 4 friends in the group, and each story is them having some kind of interaction with a duke, I believe. I think, yeah. So I believe the new one is coming out soon, and I cannot wait to check it out. If you've read it, and I would love to talk to you about this book. If you are thinking about reading it, go check it out. Go grab it. It's so worth it. I really enjoyed it. It was just so good. The banter was just so much fun. Even if romance isn't necessarily your thing, actually, no, realistically, if romance is not necessarily your thing, this book is not going to be for you. This is all romance. There's sex scenes throughout. I thought everything was really tastefully done, but all of these things take place throughout. So be fully aware this is what's going to take place. Yeah, 5 stars. Go read it. Anyway, let me know what you thought about it down in the comments, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for coming.